What is going on, fam? Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I want to get out here before everybody gets out. If you're at work, that is unfortunate, and I apologize for your employer. Not on behalf of. Listen, fam, we not going to be here long, but I wanted to give just a few rules. And I wanted to just try to get in here early before you do what you do. So let's just get down to it, fam. Listen, the first thing, like I said on the thing, these little chickens outside been killing me. I'm not getting in grass no more, gardening, nothing like that. These things just, you people who encourage me to do that. But anyway, fam, let me get into it. Listen, before we get into anything else, fam, we need you. Absolutely. If you have not gotten your tickets to the Reparation Summit, please do that. Somebody drop a link. I may be able to drop a link as well. Please put that. And if you haven't done it yet, or if you just can't do it right now, pin it somewhere, because you got to pin it somewhere, because, life is expensive, especially for those of us who are ADOS. You might have to have a savings plan for those of us who, we we know what we descend from. That's what we talk about all the time around here. So please make sure. Please make absolutely sure. Okay, Willis, you one of the ones that you got me bit up by them. They keep killing me. I got some sleeve things now, though. I got some sleeve things now that they supposed to not be able to get through there. They are tearing me up, these little bugs. They are tired of me, and I'm tired of them. But, you know, I love being outside is one of my things to do. So, you know, it is what it is. So make sure you get your ticket, fam. The hotel has told us that they will continue to accept, for lack of a better word, people for as long as they have rooms available. So, you know, at all of our events, somebody asked me this too, are your events at the hotel? Yes, our events are at the hotel. So all of that good stuff, fam. So please, 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 if you have not gotten your ticket, also please excuse my hair. I just washed it and it's doing its own thing. So I was like, no. So, and I may be somewhere speaking for Juneteenth this weekend in Atlanta. I will let you know the details when I know. Also, please join ADOS.com. Now, let's get to our rules of the road for Juneteenth. For those of you all who have not been outside, let's get to the rules. Hey, of what to do and how not to behave once you go outside this Juneteenth. Please do not try to embrace the spirit of Juneteenth by wearing a dashiki. Please do not do that. That is not embracing the spirit of Juneteenth. That is embracing the spirit of the folk who sold us over here. That is not, do not listen to Reverend Al Sharpton. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not listen to Sharpton. And I will, in just a minute, I will give you a deep dive on the Rev and why you should not listen to him. I will give you a deep dive into why you should not listen to him and his dashiki rhetoric. Because this does nothing to help us get anywhere, and we do not need to celebrate Africa. Understand something. Juneteenth is one of the most patriotic holidays of the year. It is about freedom. It is about liberation. It is about taking us out of bondage. It is America trying and failing to undo the thing that it did, which was bond us into slavery. That is an American thing. This is not an African thing. And to the extent that you keep otherizing it and trying to make it African, you are diminishing and devaluing your justice claim because you like to play with the drums. I have no problem with drums, ladies and gentlemen. I love the drums, but they have no point in our justice movement. They should be for entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa worship does not get you any closer to reparations. I am sorry. I wish it were different for you because I know a lot of you are very much engaged in Africa worship, and I know you wish being close to the teat of Mama Africa could get you closer there, but it cannot, and that is what it is. I didn't create this world. I am in it. But it is absolutely what it is. And so please do not listen to Al Sharpton and Juneteenth. Today, as you head outside, it is not Halloween. You do not need to play dress up. You do not need to wear a dashiki, dress up as a goon or a goblin. And I believe wearing dashiki is cultural appropriation. That does not belong to you. Okay, so just understand that. You come out here, we're going to do the fatherhood and we're going to do the Father's Day, and we go, no. I don't know. First of all, do Father's Day by itself. Like give the dads their props by themselves. Don't couple that up. We do Juneteenth over here. We do Father's Day over here. We're not doing them together. Give them daddies their day. They've been there with the kids and raising them and showing the right kind of masculinity to the babies. I don't even agree with coupling that up. But do not listen. Do not listen to the Reverend Al Sharpton. Ladies and gentlemen, do not do it. I want you all to make peace with the fact that this is somebody that you cannot listen to. Right? Right? So, that just is what it is. That just is what it is. Now, let me go on to the next thing. That's number one. That's the number one rule. I don't have a lot of rules. It's just a few rules. I don't have a lot. Because what we saw when they hid them likes. I hate hiding the likes because I like to publicly boost posts by liking them. So I hate that they hid the likes. I really hate that. But when Elon is trying to sell PORN on this app. So I understand what's happening, right? I absolutely understand why it's happening because I understand you're trying to turn this thing into PORN hub. This is just this degenerate space. So I understand why he's hiding the likes. It's a nasty thing. But because y'all know that Twitter is now allows that on the app, right? Listen, that's part of the reason we shouldn't have billionaires. That's another conversation. So you saw this. They invented everything but a boat to go back home. And that tweet got 90,000 likes. 90,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody always says, well, it's not, Yvette, it's not everybody. That's a lot of people. Yeah, these are just one-offs. No, it's not just one-offs. It's not just one-offs, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with understanding, hey, we got some friends everywhere. We got some friends in Africa. I got people all the way from Europe who contact me. Hey, Yvette, I'm over here. I'm European. I'm in Switzerland. I'm over here in Norway. I love what you do, even though I'm not black or whatever. I'm not. I just do stuff. They be looking for stuff all over YouTube. They really do. Like the Europeans and other countries must just be looking to try to understand what's going on with the Black Americans. And they really will reach out and say, hey, I'm down with y'all. I had somebody from Germany, a white person from Germany, reach out to me and try to help me with my tech when I was down bad. So I know we have viewers and listeners and everybody from everywhere. What I'm saying is that when you see 90,000 likes, that means that there are a lot of people who think this is the right and true way, and they feel that way. Now, I'm not going to try to make you feel no other way, but I just know that when I see that number that we're not bonded in any kind of way. And I need people to stop trying to tell me that there's some kind of bond that doesn't exist. Listen, we have an American justice claim. That's just what it is. Nothing I can do about that. Right? And I wouldn't do anything else about it. I don't want, like they invented everything but a boat to go back home. I don't want to. That's not home, and I don't want to go back. How would anybody want to go back after 400 years and multiple generations? I don't want to go home. The key question, though, is why y'all didn't build a boat to come get us? Because you didn't consider us as family. That's the real question. Why you didn't build no boat? Why you didn't build no boat to come get us? Well, because you didn't view us as family. Now you over there trying to get over here. We ain't trying to get over there. That's a lie. We love what we is. Well, now the data says that y'all will risk it all. The data says that y'all will risk it all to get over here. Now, I'm not trying to be mean to nobody, but the data tells a tale. The data says that y'all will risk it all to try to get over here and be with ADOS. Ain't it something? God really does tricks because you sold us over here to the Europeans thinking that we would probably die out. We have not died out, though. We have fought, and we are in the country that y'all are trying to get to immigrate to. Ooh-wee, that's got to burn because we are on the bottom in America, but on the bottom in America is a lot better than some of y'all got it. So you trying to swim over the rivers, go through Mexico to get here, and you think you gonna clown somebody. Ooh-wee, you got to be more careful. Y'all want to risk it all to get to America. I know why you're mad. Who would have thought the slaves that were sold over here that you sold over here because you were a part of the flesh trade would end up living here amongst these Europeans and you over there trying to get over here and get up here. Ooh, it's got to burn. I know it's got to burn. I know how you feel. You feel down bad, right? But hey, it's okay. God does that sometimes. Just you thought you was in control. Obviously you wasn't. Them slaves over there living better than you. And that don't mean we're living good because everything is relative. We're talking about in terms of white wealth, in terms of what we're owed here. But we're not the ones begging on food programs on TV. Can you give $1? No. You sold, see, everything has a consequence. That's just my view. That's just I don't get into spirituality or religiosity here, but everything has a consequence. And there's a consequence to selling people who were supposed to be your brothers and sisters into the flesh trade. It's a hell of a consequence. And it burns. I know it burns. But we're just not brothers and sisters. It's okay. There are some people who in Africa and different countries in Africa who have affinity for us and support us, and we support them. But just because you're African doesn't mean you support us. We are, remember what I always say, fam, we are connected by our set of values. We are not connected by melanin or kinky hair. We are connected by our values. And if you would put up that tweet or like that tweet, you do not share my values. So, it is what it is. Now, the one thing, ladies and gentlemen, The one thing I want y'all to do this Juneteenth as you head outside, the one thing I want y'all to do more than anything else, I want y'all to take credit, right? I want you to take credit because let me just say this. Prior to us, prior to the ADOS movement, everything that you would see online and everywhere else, everything was RBG. Everything we gotta see was red and the black and the green. It's a United Africa. As if this holiday, which has to do with the end of slavery and freedom, had anything to do with Africa. And to the extent it had something to do with Africa, it had to do with the fact that there were African. Oh, I have a little cold allergy there. It had to do something with the fact that Africans were complicit. We were giving our holiday and our freedom struggle to Africans. Why? See, I love the fact, I don't care about what the White House do, but I love the fact that even they have the right colors now. Everybody is starting to understand that the colors of Juneteenth are not red, black, and green. They are red, white, and blue because there is no more patriotic group in this country. Nobody who has fought more for this country, been here longer, contributed more in terms of culture, work, and everything else than ADOS. Ooh, you guys to love it. You guys to love it. Everybody's having to come along. We have gone into groups and pages. If y'all follow ADOS and the people who do work, the ADOS will be getting to work too. They be getting to work. If y'all follow them, you see that we have actually went into pages of people who have the wrong colors and they come back with the right colors. People didn't know and now they know. Please give yourself a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for everything. You have to give yourself a round of applause for everything that you have done and your contribution, right? Everybody ain't doing that. Everybody ain't doing that. Give yourself a round of something, right? Give yourself a round of applause. Make a DJ horn for what you have contributed. For what you have contributed. Let me see if I can find another one. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough joy, enough love. I have a whole thing about what we don't do. But please, for everything, because this moment is because of ADOS. Prior to ADOS, yeah, people were celebrating Juneteenth, and that was a Juneteenth flag, but people were not adhering to what Juneteenth was, right? You see it everywhere. Right? Here we go here. U.S. Census Bureau, they got the right one too. They got the right one. You got the right one, baby. They got the right one too. Come on now. Everybody's getting it together. We got to love it when everybody start getting it together. I love that. When you start getting it together, I love it. These are things that should be celebrated. Now, it's an American justice claim, right? And we're centering the people who fought here. We're not doing what Ron Daniels said, and we trying to get back to Africa and hand out funds to African leaders. That's not where we are. We're not doing that, right? Thank you. We're not doing that. Listen, ADOS got everything back on track. Everybody can be mad. Just roast. We don't care. Bake in. We don't care. You can be upset. That's fine. We celebrate the ancestors here who fought for the end of slavery, not for the people who sold us to slavery. You'd be like, well, not every African sold slavery. We know that. Just like not every white person was involved in slavery. We know that. That doesn't change the fact. Doesn't change the fact at all. Look at this. And let me just say this, because I'm finna read something to y'all, because I want to have can I have a little fun? Just a little fun before y'all get outside. I want to have a little fun. We all gonna be outside, but just a little fun before we get outside. So I just want to show y'all that these were the people. This is how you get scattered when you are dealing. I don't want to just, I hate just people who just talk. So I want to just bring up Ron Daniels, who is supposed to be doing all of this, reparations. He just ran in front. We built, as the ADOS movement, this reparations framework, lineage, wealth, all of this stuff. He come outside and just because he has relationships and he gets in the forefront of everything, well, that becomes a problem. But I'm going to show you why centering Africa is not just it's a problem, not just in terms of like how we do things culturally. It is a problem in terms of our politics. He said, today's immigrant is tomorrow's African-American. And all of these people on your left were at the White House talking about Haiti. See, that's what it is when you can't get focused. You can't really do my work because you're trying to do Africa's work as well. Everybody has to make peace with the fact that Africa has to save Africa and ADOS has to save ADOS. We do not know enough. We do not live there, and we do not need to stand over them and pretend. Y'all saw what happened in Liberia. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll get bad things happen to your neck. I'm gonna read it in a second, but I understand it because you cannot lord over people. And that is what Al Sharpton did. I'm gonna bring it up in 1 second. That's what he did when he went to Liberia. Now, I never brought this article up. I think I brought it up on Twitter, but I never brought it up because you can't bring anything up written by a conservative, especially a conservative that I personally disagree with on everything that has to do with race. I agree with him on some of the stuff in terms of immigration, some other stuff, but Tucker Carlson on race is 100% wrong in terms of ADOS on everything, right? So I don't bring it up, but I want to bring it up right now because this just shows it was a well-written article. I will give credit for that. This was a very well-written article, very well done, Tucker Carlson. But in 2009, and I want to change something because we have this thing where I can't disagree with 80% of what you say and agree with 20. If you agree with 20 and say, but I disagree with 80, oh, you're still sharing that person. I'm done with that. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm grown. So I don't deal with that no more. This article is well done. And it just shows the stupidity, the absolute stupidity of deciding that you are going to you haven't saved ADOS, but you're going to try and go do what Al Sharpton did, which was try to end a war in Liberia, the Civil War. He dragged Dr. Cornel West with him, a bunch of people. And why would you invite Tucker Carlson on this trip? It boggles the mind, first of all, because don't blame me. You invited him on this trip, Al Sharpton. Why? But I just want to show you what this debacle looks like, because we don't talk about the debacles of not understanding who you are and not understanding that you need to be here in America and not over there in Liberia in the midst of a civil war. There's some basic kind of misunderstandings that happen when you don't understand who you are and where you are supposed to be. And then you invited a bunch of people on this trip. It was just, y'all got to go read. When you get a chance, write down the title of the article. Go read the whole thing. You are going to laugh like you have lost all your marbles. So this is Tucker Carlson writing. Like I said, why you would invite this person. But 5 minutes before we boarded the plane to Africa, Al Sharpton called the group into a circle to pray. It struck me as a fine idea. Sharpton's plan to lead a delegation of American civil rights activists into the middle of the Liberian Civil War was going to require some divine support. He's already clowning y'all. Tucker Carlson is not a paragraph in, and he's already clowning y'all. Again, why did you invite him? If you were going to go do this madness, why would you invite him? A man in the departure lounge at JFK had just finished telling me a long and disturbing story about Ghana Airways, the carrier we had chosen for the 11-hour flight over. Apparently, much of his fleet was in Italy at the moment, impounded for debt. Apparently, the rest was aging, creaky, and given the virtually bankrupt condition of the company, spottily maintained. 14 of us gathered across from the gate one afternoon in late July and held hands. On my left was Sanford Rubenstein, Abner Louima's lawyer in the NYPD brutality case. On my right was Eminence Franzo W. King, D.D. Archbishop, and lead sax player of the St. John Coltrane African Orthodox Church in San Francisco. Across the circle was former D.C. Mayor Marion Barry's wife, Cora Masters Barry, and 3 guys from the Nation of Islam, 2 of them named James Muhammad. Cornel West, the writer and scholar, led the prayer. Lord, keep us safe. You doggone right. If you running into the middle of a civil war, you better pray to our Lord. West intoned as we bowed our heads, but more important, keep us soulful. Let me tell you, if let me just keep going. Let me just keep going. It was not an idle question. But the morning we left, Sharpton's office had released only 3 days of what was supposed to be a week-long itinerary. From what I could tell, the plan was to fly to Ghana and charter a plane from there to Liberia, where Sharpton would meet with indicted war criminal President Charles Taylor and talk peace. Of course, Sharpton doesn't have the standing to negotiate anything on behalf of anybody other than himself. But to get hung up on that fact is to miss the improvisational brilliance of this trip. And besides, Sharpton had actually spoken to Colin Powell about it just 2 days before. The State Department had raised no objections. Now, Colin Powell, you rest in peace, but you should have been ashamed of yourself. You sent Al Sharpton over there to be slayed. As a Republican Secretary of State, you sent him over there to be in the trouble. Ain't no way you can tell somebody to walk into a civil war and say, well, I have no objection. I don't have any objection until you walking your goofy self into a civil war. Listen, we're not rescuing you, though. Right now, here he goes. Now, here's the thing. This is what ADOS do, and I think it has to do with pessimism. We will walk ourselves into a place where we cannot effect change at all, and there's a whole lot of change to be had back home, and we don't do that. Well, let me go over here and I'm gonna get some glory. See, people be seeking out glory that's not theirs. Ain't nothing you can do about this. Ain't nothing you can do about a civil war in Monrovia. There's nothing you can do about this, but we want, you know, that was a time when really Al Sharpton was trying to be Jesse Jackson, because Reverend Jesse Jackson had actually negotiated a lot of things. He was trying to be him, and it looks like he almost got killed. He almost got whacked in the process. Just wasting time and energy to be able to say, because you have some kind of affinity for Africa, right? All of the countries. And Liberia is even different. It was started by, descendants of slavery, but guess what happened to them? And they did a lot of bad stuff. People love to talk in my thing. You don't know. I know, I read the book, child. Y'all, I hate the fact that these leftists and liberals think that they're the only people who crack a book open. It's only y'all, right? Y'all the only ones who know. Woo, improvisational brilliance. This is the dumbest story ever told. Suddenly, a commotion broke out in the business class. The Reverend Al Sharpton, the pastor of Fernwood United Methodist Church in Chicago, and a longtime friend of Sharpton's, had collared a flight attendant and was berating him about the choice of entertainment. We're going to Africa, Sampson said, very agitated. This is Ghana Airways, and why do you put this on? We shouldn't have to watch I Love Lucy in 2003. So this is in 2000. So it shows up as a date of its writing is 2009. It must have been writing early and got reprinted. Y'all end up fighting because Ghana Airlines put I Love Lucy on. They should have told you what they value. They value white folk, and what are you talking about? You almost getting in the fisticuffs. We're in Ghana. What are we watching I Love Lucy for? Just wasting time being stupid. And it doesn't stop with the trip. That is the politics of that. That is this trip that was planned by Al Sharpton. He brought a lot of people along, but that is this plan, just being silly. We gonna fight you over I Love Lucy. Turn that off. I'm not gonna be part of what you got going on here. Hey, on a plane. Y'all don't really understand. We don't really understand how silly these people are. We really don't. We think we do. No, we really don't understand how they just create confusion and foolishness. We really don't understand the part of the reason we're not respected. Most of the reason has to do with the fact that we're ADOS and what we come from, and the propaganda has led people to believe. A small faction of it, though, has to do with the fact of people who have claimed to lead us, and this is how they lead us. So let's go to the flight attendant was squatting in the aisle doing his best to listen politely. He was obviously confused. Julianne Malveaux, let me tell y'all something. Julianne Malveaux is the biggest disappointment in ADOS history. A woman who went to MIT and did all of this stuff in economics just to dumb herself down to be around all of this stuff all the time and contribute to it. Julianne Malveaux, she should have been writing, honestly, somebody from MIT should have been writing economic papers all the time instead of just getting involved in foolishness. She has no body of work. Her body of work is almost nothing. You look at a lot of these ADOS people in economics and all this stuff, they have no body of work. But let me see, Julianne Malveaux got to fighting too. Julianne Malveaux, liberal commentator and PBS host who happened to be sitting nearby, jumped in. This is offensive. Who is Mark Miller? Well, let me pause for Mark Milner since you want the stage. Let me see you debate Jerry Ball. I offered to debate Jerry Ball in person one time. A long time ago on Clubhouse, Jerry Ball ran off. He ran off with his tail between his legs and I said, Jerry, I want to debate. I said, Jerry, we can debate this right now. I was on Clubhouse. He was in the Clubhouse room. He said, I didn't come here for this. And he ran off. That man is not built for what you think he's built for. And even when he went to Mark Lamar Hill, he signaled that he didn't want to do it. He said he would find somebody else to do it. So he don't want to do that. He says he's not the best person to do it. I'm not necessarily as familiar with this Diallo person as you are. I think that was the person who spent his time making fun of my hair or something. Like, these are not grown people. So everybody had that chance to debate me and everybody cowered. I don't know what you want to do with that. I mean, what is everybody going to do with that? I mean, it's great though. Because I had this person on my show. I had this person. Yeah, I hit Mark Milner because he's when you accuse me of lying, then you're a liar. Like, I mean, the Clubhouse has to be somewhere. And you can, I mean, I don't share private messages, but I could. Like, or people saying, well, he said he's not the best person to debate you. He says debate is not his forte. Yeah, I bet. And are we talking about the same Jerry Ball who I invited and had flown out to St. Stephen's Church to do a speech in front of a black church where he told a black church that he was an atheist and wore a jogging suit and totally disrespected? Listen, I don't respect these people, and we've moved past them. The reason they always cling to us is because they need to. They need to. What are y'all doing? You don't get views unless you put ADOS in your thing. No, nobody gets views. The only time you get views is when ADOS did this. You need us. We don't need you. I don't need to stoop down that low. When I was at that level, I invited you for a debate. When I was at that level, I said that. I'm not at that level no more. I'm above you. This movement is above whatever you're doing over there. Hey, go with Al Sharpton over here and fight the flight attendant about I Love Lucy. That's what. Listen, y'all not going to get me invested in this madness during Juneteenth. It is a wonderful holiday. And the number 2 rule of Juneteenth is no Africa talk. So I can't talk to the Pan-Africanist. Y'all gonna have to take that. I don't know what day that's gonna be, but y'all gotta take that up somewhere else. Whew. He was still stewing when we arrived in Ghana at 5 a.m. On the bus to the hotel, someone mentioned a story that had run on Black Entertainment Television about Sharpton's trip to Africa. Apparently, it was unflattering. Samson made the connection immediately. Who owns I Love Lucy, he said. Viacom, and what part of Viacom? BET. BET is Viacom. That's right, said someone from the back of the bus. Samson nodded. So you know that's the disinformation beginning. No, they knew. Even BET knows that there's nothing you can do over there. There's nothing you could do. Even they know there's nothing you can do. Like that, what are you going over there for? You're going over there for clout. And these people, like, understand. You almost got Cordell. You almost got yourself killed over there in the middle of a civil war for clout, talking about you going to negotiate something. For what power? You didn't even have the power of the United States backing you. You didn't go over there as a diplomat of America. See, this stuff is foolish. Every time we start trying to think we can save Africa, we end up I know Africa's 54 countries. We talked about it. But anytime we think we can do something or move something, it just becomes foolishness because we can't. You can only do something, too, with the backing of America, meaning you come from the State Department or something like that. You can't do anything on your own. They don't know no Al Sharpton. Oh, my goodness. Let me go to the next one. As a rule, the civil rights establishment is not punctual. See, why would you invite Tucker Carlson to your thing? You know he feels this way about us. Why would you invite him? This is your fault. See, I fought Al Sharpton and all these people for this. You didn't invite like a regular. You invited Tucker Carlson. Even in 2000, we kind of got a sense what his leaning was. But he wrote a good article. He said y'all on CP time, which is really. But even by the standards of the chronically late Sharpton and the chronically late Sharpton is chronically late. Like all politicians, he tends to schedule an impossible number of events in a single day. But that's only part of the problem. Habit accounts for the rest. After spending so many years on the road with so little cash, so far from the edge of respectability, Sharpton has lost the ability to travel like a legitimate person. Ooh! In Sharpton's world, itineraries are merely suggestions. It's a measure of his awesome personal talent that he's able to get anything done at all. He's that disorganized. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not gonna bring nobody on the trip with me who I know is gonna come back with that kind of reporting. I'm just not gonna do it. I can't. It's too much. It's too much. But let's just get through this. I just want to show you when I talk about not doing the Africa thing, or when I talk about not traveling there because that's a tourism scheme to get money. When I talk about that, I'm not talking about it from a place of hate. I'm showing you I don't hate anybody. Like, well, no, but I don't hate the group of people. I don't hate people by their group. Like, I'm not xenophobic. But what I'm telling you is that what you can do over there is nothing. You should really do something here and prove that you can effect change here before you even consider trying to go over there. They just bastardize all kinds of stuff, use up energy and resources for nothing. And that's what Ron Daniels did with Haiti. What he said? Hey, barbecue. Hey, barbecue. You should do better with yourself. Why don't you do better, barbecue? A man with the name Barbecue. You said that to somebody who calls themselves Barbecue. Child, I can't. You brought this man over here. You don't have any kind of discernment. You brought this man over here with you so that he could roast you and talk about how bad you are. Fam, ain't no way in the world. It was Jewel Taylor, the First Lady of Liberia, calling from Monrovia once again to offer a spare bedroom in the palace for our scheduled visit next day. Sharpton was polite but skeptical. We'll call her tomorrow morning, he said. He said once we get off the phone. If she doesn't answer, we'll know what it means. Yeah, she's trying to give you a spare bedroom to protect her because the rebels is headed that way. Why are you there? What are we talking about? And not only are you there making a mess, you brought somebody with you who was going to expose the whole mess. Listen, that's why you got to focus on yourself. Number 2 rule of Juneteenth: no Africa talk, no dashikis, no Africa talk. Focus on you. At some point during the flight across the Atlantic, Charles Taylor had lost control of his country. 2 rebel armies, Liberians United for Reconciliation and Democracy, known as LURD, and the Movement for Democracy in Liberia, known as MODEL, appeared to have taken everything but downtown Monrovia. LURD, L-U-R-D, was said to be within 10 miles of Taylor's home. That's why she was calling you, telling you to come over. Come over. We got a bedroom for you. I bet you do. Rebels right outside of your house. I bet you do. Liberia has been in a state of low-grade revolution since at least 1980, when a 28-year-old master sergeant named Samuel Doe executed virtually the entire leadership of the country, most of them descendants of freed American slaves. President Doe himself met his end 10 years later when he had the misfortune of being captured by a guerrilla leader known as General Prince Johnson. I'm not going to tell you what Johnson did, but you can read it for yourself. That's all I'm saying. I am not going. You can read that a little bit for yourself. After they killed the ADOS people, you can read it for yourself. So Al Sharpton, what were you doing over there? These ideas of you going to adventure in Africa will always lead to foolishness because you don't live there. You are not a part of that country, that continent, let alone that country. You have no idea what you're doing, and you're just making a mess. You're just fodder for people like Tucker Carlson, who were waiting for you, who are willing to risk his own life so he could write about how stupid you are. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, family. Happy Juneteenth. Like I said, the number 3 rule is to give yourself credit for we ain't doing the RBG no more. Come on. As you go out the house, your Juneteenth rule. A similar thought had occurred to Lurid. As I discovered when I called CNN's producer in Liberia, the network had asked me to bring a box of audio equipment to the CNN crew in Monrovia, which had recently been stranded in the city when commercial air services was suspended. Air service was suspended the week before. The producer wasn't bullish on Sharpton's prospects of success. Lurid was well aware he was coming, he said. They viewed the trip as an effort to prop up Taylor. Lurid might try to kill Sharpton at the airport. Let me tell you, you will risk your life for another country. You don't live there, you don't even know the people, but you will not risk your life for your people. That's one thing I've learned about the people. You will go to Monrovia and risk it all. You will not risk it here. You will play the game, which is what Al Sharpton has been doing ever since. You will play the game and not get in trouble, but you will try to fly into an airport where they said they might snatch you up. They viewed the trip as an effort to prop up Taylor. Lurid or possibly at one of the roadblocks on the long drive into the city. It would be brave to come to Liberia tomorrow, he said. Listen, I'm not going to stay on this too long, fam, but this is it's outside, Taylor's troops were fighting in the street battles with Lurid, L-U-R-D. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but whatever. Many of the soldiers on both sides were barely in their teens. Some of the Lurid forces were dressed in women's clothes, wedding dresses, blonde wigs, high heels, with the range from huffing gasoline. Hey, fam, let me just stop right here. Well, y'all flying into this. It sounded like an uncomfortable scene. Do we understand how ridiculous the people are who lead us? That's my main question. I don't want to stay. Y'all can. This article only gets better. You have to give people props. You have to give credit where credit is due. This article only gets better. But I'm just saying, do we understand how ridiculous this is? To fly into Liberia feeling that you can create some kind of change where they're fighting in the street with high heels and wigs on and stuff like that, and they talking about doing something to you at the airport. Right? I mean, it only gets better. I don't want to take too much time today because I know everybody got to get outside. So I'm not going to take up too much time. But this is the same thing I see what you see now. Run Danes. We got to talk barbecue. Now y'all was all at the White House. Barbecue, you got to do better. I have a question. What do you think our lives would look like? And I'm not saying you shouldn't if you're in the CBC, if you're in Congress, you shouldn't vote against apartheid. You absolutely should. You absolutely should have been opposed to South African apartheid. You absolutely should have been that. And to the extent it came to your desk and you had an opportunity to vote for divestment, you absolutely should have. That is not the same thing as flying into a civil war, risking life and limb. Don't nobody want to be Martin Luther King in America. Don't nobody want to get shot down in America, but seems to me that you're willing to risk it all for Africa. That's a problem. That is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't nothing you can do about that. And I'll just go to the end of it. In the end, the question of whether or not to go to Monrovia was settled by a pilot of the ambulance plane. They were going to fly to Monrovia in an ambulance plane. The next morning, he refused to fly in on the grounds that we get killed. Fam, I can't do it. Apparently, he hadn't been to the mountaintop yet either. He is clowning y'all. Y'all let Tucker Carlson, please take the time to read this and just realize we have been led for a long time by very incompetent people. Please understand that, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's on the trip. Sam Jackson called back at 9:40 with Taylor's latest offer, which sounded suspiciously like the offer he'd been making all along. If the United States was willing to send peacekeepers to Monrovia, Taylor would leave the country. This is a madness. Taylor would leave the country within a day and allow an interim government with representatives from both rebel factions to take place. Sharpton sounded skeptical. If Taylor equivocates, I will blast him all over the world as a liar. Who cares, Sharpton? Nobody care about what you was going to do. That man was about to get, he was about to get cut up in his own house. It didn't end well. All right, he said, I'll get Cornell and them to draft a statement. The deal was almost done. There were several more meetings over the next few days. For a short time, it looked like Sharpton might have achieved a breakthrough. Lurid seemed to figure out most of what was going on. Taylor appeared to be getting more flexible. On the third day, the State Department sent real people Not these clowns Sharpton. Sharpton, you never should have had all these people over there. You had Cornell, you had everybody over there. You had everybody. We could have lost everybody over there. And some other people, I didn't even like. He had some Nation of Islam people over there, and somebody said something about giving the credit card to the NOI. Listen, you just read it. I can't. Seemed to figure out most on the third day, the State Department sent a foreign service officer from the Africa desk in Washington to brief Sharpton on Liberian politics. So he went over there and didn't know nothing. He went over there. He didn't know nothing about their politics. He thought because we black. See, let me tell you something else. He said he ran into him at lunch. I don't have a position on Sharpton's plan. Let me tell y'all something else. This is why we got to let go of the blackety black. See, this blackety black stuff keeps everybody trapped. We all black. We African. We whatever. Listen, I don't care whether it's foundational, Black America. I don't care whether it's Black Lives Matter. Let all that blackety black stuff go. We are American descendants of slavery, the institution. We are ADOS. That is it. Anything that has black in it, it doesn't help us with disaggregation. And it is disaggregation, as I was talking about with a friend yesterday. It is not delineation. Delineation and disaggregation are not the same thing. Delineation is like we have 8 dogs here and 6 of them are red. Well, we have to do delineation because some of the dogs come with a red hue. That's delineation. The term that the OMB uses is disaggregation. That's what we do with the data. Use the right terms. Phrasing matters. Whew. Lord have mercy. Clowning out here. Sharpton almost got himself cut up over there. Then it fell apart. Predictably, the plan unraveled when it reached lured troops. They didn't want to stop fighting. When called by their commanders from the hotel coffee shop in Ghana and told about the ceasefire, the pantyhose-clad guerrillas in Monrovia simply hung up the phone. As any parent knows, 14-year-olds can be hard to control. They didn't want to stop fighting. Oh, and then Al Sharpton just said, "Well, I guess we gonna go on vacation." Suddenly, the bring peace to Liberia portion of the trip was over. There was talk of heading to Johannesburg to see Nelson Mandela, but nobody could find his number. We spent the next few days sightseeing, visiting refugee camps, following Sharpton as he made campaign-like stops across Accra, including remarkable and contentious. Listen, child, let me just tell you something. Fam, I just bring up this ridiculousness on Juneteenth to point out to why you shouldn't listen to Al Sharpton when he tells you that you should wear dashikis. Africa did not go well for him. Let me see if I can find where's it at? Where he was wearing Africa did not go well for this man, right? So he don't get to tell you to go around and say, we gotta represent. No. This Al Sharpton cannot lead anybody anywhere. He cannot lead anybody to water. So this brings me to my 4th rule of Juneteenth. Build community amongst ADOS. Listen, if we're going to be together and be with each other and be a community has rules and boundaries, and we got to love each other, and we got to know what distinguishes ourselves from everybody else. And that is our history in this country. That is our lineage going from slavery. That is our freedom struggle. That is our fight. It is not anything that has anything to do. And you can't even say Liberia because the slave descendants, founded that country. But it's a different thing. That's a different animal now. And you don't get to go over there and be like, well, I'm finna go over here and I'm going to tell them I'm going to get them together or whatever. No. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. I'm sorry. That's not what's happening. And you should never listen to this man again in your life. Like he could have got everybody dispatched and done away with on that trip. Can you imagine? As a leader, the responsibility that you have as a leader is to protect your people. He flew them into a civil war, didn't get nothing done. Woo. We got to be a community. We got to be a community, family. Got to be. You can't save Africa. Africa can't save us. None of the countries over there. Everybody has to make peace with that. So rule number 5 is no RBG, no red, black, and green. We're not doing that no more. Juneteenth is an American holiday and should be respected as such. Woo. Fam, if you get a chance, please, if you want to laugh, if you want to enjoy yourself, and just have yourself a hooting and hollering good time. Please go find that article. This is, what was it? What was the first article? I don't know where I put it at, but please. I think I might have moved it. Did I move it? Oh, this is the article. Child, go find that article. You if you can get through it without if you can get through it within 2 hours, because you're gonna laugh. That's number 5. No RBG. We gotta have community. Listen, aim for five rules, and have a good time. Listen, you're out here celebrating the ancestors. The ancestors made a way for you to be there, right? For you to be here talking to me, and I'm talking to you. The ancestors made a way for that, right? We have to continue the ancestors' work. That is the knowledge that you have to take into today, right? That we have to continue their work. That is our job. Right. But as we do that, we celebrate them, and we celebrate everything that they did in this country to win our freedom. Because like I say all the time, we're not supposed to be here. And you have to celebrate them. You have to understand what they went through, and you have to be willing to go through some of that stuff yourself. Right. So, fam, that's it. Only 5 rules. You got to enjoy yourself, have fun, pass this down. That's what it is. And give me a few minutes. I will set up the phones if anybody wants to call, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll be out of here. But that, you got to go read that. All right, family, we are back. We are back. We are back. I'm going to my first call. I am going to 415. 415, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, this is Denise in San Francisco.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I'm fine. Hope you're doing great.
I'm doing well.
I was secretly hoping Al Sharpton got over there and those rebels got their hands on him.
Oh, don't wish no bad on old Al. Don't wish no bad. I don't wish that on nobody, but I understand.
Oh, it ever solved a lot of our problems. Maybe it brought a lot of people down to reality. First, you get your own house in order before you start going around the globe with who knows what.
That's true.
And part of the reason why the Pan-African movement is not moving is because those people got to get certain things in order psychologically, okay? Now, back to us. Now, our lineage is separate. We may be of African descent, but our lineage is separate, and we have a legitimate gripe against America. America has been starving us out for resources since the end of the Civil War. And I'm personally annoyed with Biden and Stamela's scam with Juneteenth. First of all, I was celebrating Juneteenth before those two clowns even came onto the picture, okay? I didn't need them really to give me a national holiday that I was already celebrating. I needed them to give me some real tangible, okay? Such as a police force that can check these local police forces with all these dirty cops on them, okay? And then we need our reparation money, okay? That's what we need, real tangible. Giving us a holiday like Juneteenth is symbolism, okay? Now, after everybody gets finished dancing and barbecuing and shaking their booty, we're going to come home to a cold-blooded capitalist system that's attacking us in every financial way they can.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but I like a nice rub. I see. Here's the thing. I believe symbolism has its place. Like, I had a problem with symbolism during the Obama administration because all he gave us was symbolism. I just believe symbolism has to come with something else. Like, I love the fact that Juneteenth is this holiday that everybody's recognizing now. It should, because we are as American as apple pie. I love the fact that my people gonna be out here with Juneteenth flags. We're gonna be barbecuing and whatever. Somebody better let me know if you're around here where you gonna be at. If there's gonna be some peach cobbler available and a little ice cream. But like, I love that part. But I do agree with you that there has to be more.
Okay. But like, I love that part. But
I think you. I'm hearing myself now. But I appreciate you, caller. Thank you so much for calling in. I'm gonna let you go because I'm just hearing myself. 252. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey there, how you doing today? This is William Dickens from
What's going on, William? What's up with you?
Well, ain't much, fam. First thing I want to say first is I'm glad to be in this fight with a soldier like Yvette Cordell and Antonio Moore. I mean, hey, I was just telling one of the fans today, I said, hey, Yvette might not know it, but she a soldier all through and through. You know what I mean? So, and with that being said, that means we got good leadership in that when it comes to ADOS. And what you're talking about with this Al Sharpton has everything to do with leadership. It's just like when you talk about when people try to push the ideology, oh, you don't need a leader. You don't need a leader for a movement. You have a leaderless movement. That's stupid. Nothing works that way.
That's stupid.
Leadership is everything. It's everything. Just like being organized is everything.
Mm-hmm.
That article that Carson Tucker wrote, it talked about a lot. Why are we still listening to Al Sharpton? The man, he ain't.
Let me say something, William. You said, why do we still, I don't know. Like, I guess we didn't read that. Like, I feel like we don't have any standards or measurement for what a leadership should do and how they should behave and what it should look like. And for example, I will say this, like the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, we have not disrupted, right? Like, I see a lot of different groups. I don't want to bring y'all up. You know who you are. They have split in a million different pieces, and y'all were fighting when we found y'all. Y'all were fighting over the name ADOS something else in a different state. Y'all were fighting over ADOS you didn't even create it way back when in 2019. That okay. You see these people all are split. They be all fighting in Twitter spaces. I will say, William, that the ADOS Advocacy Foundation don't have Twitter spaces with people fighting, right? I will say, William, that Antonio and I talk almost every day, if not every day. Like, y'all got to stop saying that the problem is Yvette, because all of Yvette's people seem to be okay. Like, you all have split and y'all are fighting. You think I haven't heard about those spaces y'all be in, cutting each other up? Like, part of leadership is also being able to put stuff to the side and realize sometimes you were wrong, or you let something, you didn't see something that you should have seen, right? You know, and I'm never going to get on a space and argue or downrate people who are in my movement and have contributed to my movement. Y'all have a lot of leadership lessons to learn, some of y'all out there. But go on, William. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, Frank. No, you fine. The last thing I want to say, it was a video that came out a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you've seen this video. It was where 15,000 ADOS people went to Ghana. And them Ghanese down there are running them out of their houses, taking their houses. The police is in on it. Government officials are in on it.
I'm sorry. I haven't seen it. You got to send it to me. DM me. My DM's open. DM it to me.
I'm gonna have to send you this in your DM. Of course, the ADOS fan, we've been having a field day with it, because it's a Pan-African guy, and he's just so heartbroken, Yvette. He's so heartbroken that he got ran up out of Ghana, because he thought he supposed to be one of them, because it's blackity black. Man, it's our people got to understand what leadership look like and what lineage means, and that is no escaping this lineage. Ain't a job gonna do it. Your income level ain't gonna do it. You are stuck here with me and Yvette, like it or not.
Yep, you ain't going nowhere.
That's all I want to say, fam. We ain't going.
I appreciate you, fam. Yeah, I knew they was gonna run y'all out of there, because you can't even. You can call the police. I'm gonna call the police. What's their 911? I told her because I went to Liberia one time. I told the man, I said, man, what happened? The actually come to call 911. He laughed. They ain't got no 911. You just bleed to death on the road. What you talking about? Child, no, I can't do that. I don't feel well.
They pull up and say, "That's my house now. I want that house. That's my house."
Yeah. Oh, you built it? Okay, it's mine now. No. Okay. Well, you showed me. Remember, and there was another place in Ghana where the ADOS people don't. And no, it wasn't ADOS. It was just diasporans, because most of them were Jamaican and something else. But they don't had to get them guns over there. Ooh, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I like to enjoy my Juneteenth. I don't like to do that. I like to enjoy my Juneteenth.
There's no running from this fight. We got to stand right here on this American soil and fight for what we built, period.
Absolutely. Thank you, William. I appreciate you. Hey, it couldn't be me. I like to enjoy it. Listen, sometimes we don't understand that there are differences between oppressed people. Like, yes, you're oppressed, but ain't nobody coming in your house taking it. Ain't nobody banging on your door with hatchets and stuff. That's not happening. I'm right here now. And the air conditioning is running, and you know, I'm about to go have me a cup of black tea after I get off with y'all, because I haven't had my workout before I strike out. I should have had it earlier, but I want to send out the newsletter. So it's, you know, 404, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on, fam? Happy Juneteenth.
Hi, Yvette. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. This is Imara from Atlanta. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing well. I just had a quick question for you.
Sure.
Earlier you were talking about the difference between disaggregation and delineation. Do you mind briefly explaining what you meant by that in context of what you were talking about with Al Sharpton going to Africa and whatnot, or?
Well, I
make
think
sure I had the understanding of that.
Okay, no. I think language matters. I think terms matters. And I think also who uses those terms matters. So when you talk, delineation is associated with disaggregation, but it's not the same. Disaggregation is the verbiage that we use when it comes to data. So when we talk about disaggregating the data, disaggregating the groups, that is not only the wording that we use, that's the wording that the OMB use. The word delineation means to just take apart. It's not the same as disaggregation. So if you want to say this one thing is not like the other thing, that's delineation. If you want to say we have to take apart this data group like the OMB does, they use the term disaggregation, because we have aggregated a group that shouldn't have been aggregated together. So we have to disaggregate that group. So the wording that we chose a long time ago was disaggregation, because it's a nuanced difference, but it's still a difference.
Oh, you meant that in the context of like how we define ourselves as Black people. So you prefer disaggregation.
Well, and how the OMB defines what they do, right? So yes, disaggregation is the term most associated with data. Like, nobody says, I'm going to delineate data. Nobody says that. They says, I'm going to disaggregate this, or I'm going to aggregate this. So we're talking about the best verbiage for data, because you can delineate something and say this thing has a difference than this, but that is not a data-centric kind of word or term. That's why we chose it. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so I have data-centered versus it's more nuanced. Okay.
Yeah, and if you go look it up, you'll see the minute differences, but the differences are enough to where, like, no, we don't want to just delineate. That's not. I don't know why people, but yeah, it's disaggregate.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You
No
have
problem.
a happy Juneteenth and have a great day.
I will, and you do the same. Y'all enjoy yourselves out there. Honor people, honor yourselves too. Y'all been in this movement. Honor yourself and everybody else. 216. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
Hey.
Yo, what's up, Yvette? This is D Thoughts calling from Cleveland, and I just want to echo
fam?
some of the sentiments of the callers. We want to celebrate this day, but we also want to celebrate you as the fearless leader.
Oh,
and I mean this, Yvette. You are the closest thing that we've had since Fannie Lou Hamer. And Fannie Lou Hamer is my number one.
You know I love me some Fannie Lou. You know I love it. You know I love me some Fannie Lou Hamer.
And Yvette, we want to hold you up, and we want to support you, sister. I was at the first ADOS conference with my son, and we have supported you this whole time. But
Thank
Yvette,
you.
I just wanted to share something, two things that we need to do. I'm an educator. So I was asked to speak at a Juneteenth event at a institution here. So I was ready, Yvette. I had my information. Thanks to you and Antonio, man, you all have taught me so much.
Okay.
For learning. So I go there, Yvette, and when I go there, I already know what's going on. So they already have, as you say, the RPG colors. They're everywhere. And so, Yvette, they had all of these activities, and it was a 3-hour program, but they only allowed 30 minutes for, like, education discussion. So I said, okay, I'll still go. So I went. I talked a little bit about the day and why we need to acknowledge. The day is a day of acknowledgement. U.S. is acknowledging the wrongs of enslavement. But then I said, where do we go from here? And I talked about Dr. King. We come to cash the check, talking about reparations. I also had a slide where I put you and my man Tone Talks up there and say, hey, if you want to learn about this movement, this is the movement, those things. So I was rushed off, and I was rushed off, Yvette, and I was kind of rushed, and this was like what I'm getting at. I was rushed off because they wanted to get this dance troupe up, and they, like you said, they had the African garments, and what I call it, Yvette, is kind of cosplay, because you had these ADOS people in these garments. They had the drums, and they did that for like almost an hour and a half.
Not an hour with the drums. Not an hour with the drums. You lying.
Hour and a half, dancing and all of those different things, Yvette. So, Yvette, my thing was this. Here's what I wanted to, why I tell this story. Yvette, we have to show up at these events and be very and be very intentional.
Hold on 1 second, fam. Hold on 1 second, fam. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Because I want to. Hold on 1 second, fam. Because I want to say, when you say we have to show up to these events, cities have Juneteenth planning committees now. Like you want to try to get yourself as a part of that committee, the planning for that committee, because that, and even in terms of if you want to run for office at some point, all of these kinds of things matter. Don't just jump out the window and decide you want to go, and all of a sudden you want to go oppose Jim Clyburn. No, you start doing this kind of thing. But go on, fam. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yvette, so what I wore, because I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama.
All right.
And I grew up, my granddad was a coal miner. I come from sharecroppers from Lowndes County, Alabama, migrated to Birmingham. So to honor my grandfather and my great-grandfather, who their land was stolen in Sumner County, Alabama, I wore my overalls because I used to wear them all the time. And people were kind of like, well, why do you have overalls on? You should have your African garment and those things. I said, no. I am an ADOS, and I'm honoring my ancestors and my grandfather and all of the people that came before them. So I wanted to intentionally wear that for that conversation. But we have to show up at these events, and we have to set the tone. And in all of my slides, I made sure I had the red, white, and blue, because someone asked me, Yvette, they say, hey, why don't you have the traditional colors? I had to do that correction like what you just talked about. And then they said, well, that sounds kind of like new. I said, no, actually the flag was created in 1997.
Ooh, tell them.
So it's actually 20 years old, and you should have just saw them with that. Last thing, Yvette, because other people want to share, Yvette, we have to also make sure, because I heard some people, because they came up, they liked my talk, they had a conversation, they said, well, you know what, this is our new 4th of July. And I had to correct that person, Yvette, and said, no, we can celebrate Juneteenth for what it is, but we want to celebrate the 4th of July as well, because when we do not do that, we do not honor all of the ancestors that fought way before Juneteenth.
That's true.
For that for that liberation, such as Frederick Douglass that said, "What good is the 4th of July to a slave?" So
absolutely.
When we dismiss the 4th of July, we dismiss Maria Stewart, Langston Hughes, I Too Sing America. So those two things, Yvette, I just wanted to say, we have to show up at those things and get on those commissions and have a voice there, because if we don't, Yvette, it's going to be red, black, green, and a lot of drum playing with in cosplay. Last thing, Yvette, if you go to Africa as well, they don't even wear all of those costumes.
They don't. They don't. Fam, they don't. They love American clothes. They love American clothes. They love Jordans and jeans and all that stuff.
Exactly. So, Yvette, I look forward to the conference. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, fam.
We support you in event. You are the leader that we need. Now I'm behind you 100%.
I appreciate you, fam. I love y'all.
And Yvette, you teach us courage. So if you're going to be scared, then you can stand to the sideline. If you're scared that you lose a job with those things, Fannie Lou Hamer would, and I'm not.
If you're scared, say you're scared.
Have representation and love in Cleveland. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love y'all. I love you right back. I love your bike. So you know, and that was one of my other rules too, fam. That was a great call, because one of my other rules, I think I've skipped over it, was don't argue with nobody on Juneteenth. Come with your book list. Come with 3 books that you recommend. The half has never been told, which is probably one of them. But 3 books that you recommend, and tell them to go read. But what a great call, fam. Yeah, you got to be on these committees stuff. We like to skip, and we like to just show up and have a rally. No, what are we? Are we on the Juneteenth Planning Commission? Are we educating people on, like, no, these are the colors. These are when the colors started. This is the actual history, right? Like, that's what. Oh, the great call, fam. Appreciate you. 910-910. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Miss Yvette? This is Christian from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
What's going on, Christian? How you been?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I just wanted to, number one, of course, as a shout out to Mr. William, also with the NC ADOS chapter. Definitely wanted to as well follow
shout out
your flowers for the incredible leadership that you provided. I actually wanted to share a fun fact that I actually learned the other day. It's just about myself, at least. So I'm 24 now, but I started following you and Mr. Antonio back in 2016. So I had just graduated high school. And so I wanted to let you know that the impact that you've given, I've literally been under your leadership for at least a third of my life.
Oh.
I now have my son, who's going to be 2 in September. And from the time that he was born up until now, of course, he barely talks, but he's been inundated and been around understanding who he is, and that has come as a result of the work that you've been putting in. And I want to thank you for that. I've been having a little bit of a weird day, so of course, like probably many of the people in the chat, I had to work today, and so that made things a little bit difficult for me because of the company that I work for. But one of the things I thought was interesting is I've been having a lot of interesting encounters with my different contractors who were mostly white that I work with the paint company. And they're casually, I'm sure people in the chat can relate to this. White people have a really weird way of kind of showing off the wealth that they have, but in a way that's almost very nonchalant because it's normal for them. So just this past week, as I've been dealing with financial issues and different things that come with being ADOS in America, I'm working and I have a contractor that comes up to show me one of the new horses he bought for his wife. And his exact words were, "Hey, son, just wanted to show you this. This is what $250,000 looks like." And I think to myself, like, wow, like you're gonna show me this. This is 1 out of 10 of his horses that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows me this, and I sit there and think about all of the things I've had to go through just to get a house, all the land that was stolen from my family just in my lifetime, and thinking that this man can show me these things. I have another contractor I work with. She's an immigrant. She got here probably in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I remember she told me a story about how America, in her eyes, is the easiest place to make money. She has 15 properties, but she's always talking about how she's poor, and at the same time, with these 15 properties, she just told me she don't have a mortgage, hasn't had one in 20 years, and then on top of that, is able to get food stamps.
Oh.
Now, for whatever reason, I can't get food stamps. I cannot get food stamps without lying anyway, and I refuse to compromise my integrity.
Ain't no ADOS man gonna get no food stamps. How you say? yeah, no. But go on, fam. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No. You're right. Absolutely. So I've been. My wife and I are now coming up on 4 years of marriage in July, and so I've been trying to stick it out and make sure I'm providing for my family the way that I learned from my dad and watching him with my family, and still seeing you can try as hard as you want, and sometimes it doesn't measure up. And so one of the things I was thinking about with today, being that how important it is to celebrate what the ancestors have been able to bring us to, but also it is very interesting too. That I thought about this song I'm sure you've heard it, by Jill Scott Heron. I believe I'm saying that right.
Mm-hmm.
The song is called Whitey on the Moon. And I've been thinking about this song like all day today. Because one of the craziest things to me is while I'm at work and to be surrounded by wealth and to not have access to it is one of the most angering, indescribably frustrating things ever. And I'm sure, to say that here is speaking to the choir. I know that. And so one of the things, I wanted to share this quick story real quick and I'll jump off. One of the things I think is important for us to remember is like today needs to be very sobering for us. That yes, we do have our physical freedom from the chattel slavery, but we're not free in the sense of what it means to be a real American.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember back in 2017, because I'm an aberration, so my parents at the time anyway had some access to wealth and income that allowed me to get different experiences. One of the things I was able to do in 2017, I was able to go to Israel. I lived there for about 2 months, and I was at Ben Gurion University to study Hebrew. While I'm out there, there's a group of, I'm the only ADOS person in the group. There's a bunch of
I can imagine you over there studying. I can imagine. I'm sorry, Fam. Go on, though.
No, you're good. So yeah, I'm over there with a lot of white kids, a lot of kids from Germany, interestingly enough, and all over the world. And I remember a conversation got struck up, and they're talking about America's racial past. Now, at this point, I'm not really involving myself in the conversation because I was over it. They're talking about it, and the white girls and the white dudes speak up, and they're like, yeah, it was bad before, but it's not as bad anymore. I mean, we've come a long way. So I'm not saying anything for a little bit, and lo and behold, one of my friends comes in the room, and they say, hey, Christian, and I'm explaining to this group that, like, no, it's not. It's actually still very bad. There's a lot of horrible things happening, and we don't have wealth.
Uh-huh.
And this is where I'm first getting the lane not to cry.
Take your time.
I turn on the news, and one of the headlines is, there's a Klan rally happening in Charleston, South Carolina. This is the Klan rally that was going national. I'm overseas. I'm not even at home. And it is on display. And I'm looking at these people that are telling me they're my fellow countrymen and all these other things. And right there in real life, while I'm overseas and supposedly have all these benefits and supposedly have all this freedom, I'm letting them see in real life, this is what we deal with. I don't care what you think we came from. This is happening right now.
Absolutely.
This is what my family deals with. 4 years later, I have a cousin that's murdered by D.C. Metropolitan Police. My parents had 40 properties stolen from them. I had, the hospital my son was born in, trying to take my son due to the medical apartheid practice there. I say all that to say this. Family, we should definitely, support. We should love and stand up for the authenticity and the integrity of what this holiday means. But do not get it twisted. We're not done fighting yet. And so I want to say thank you once again, Miss Yvette, for all of what you've been doing. I thank you that, I've been able to attach myself to something that I can look at my wife, I can look at my son, I can look at my community and say, I'm attached to something that is so much bigger than me. And whatever small part I can play, it's going to be for the liberation of my own people. Not sharing a post about Al Sharpton, not sharing, what Issa Rae got to say, but doing real politics in order to, even if I can't get the freedom and liberation myself, my son damn sure is going to have it. And I'll do anything by any means necessary to make sure that happens. So thank you, Miss Yvette.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you. We love you out here. So
what you've been doing. And I look forward to continuing to be on the battlefield with you.
I thank you. I thank you, sir. Thank you so much for calling in, and you speak to what has to happen. Like, it's a wonderful day, but it's a day to know we're going to have to keep fighting, and dealing with the trauma of it all. So I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate you calling in as always. And listen,
thank you.
And listen, that trauma is natural. Everybody got to learn that ain't nothing wrong with you crying or whatever. That's America built and created that trauma inside of you. And I can't tell you how many people have, I don't know how many people have called into the show and have kind of, had that come up, because that's trauma. You got to get that out of you. You know what I mean? You have to work through that. So shout out to him. I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate all of that. And I think that does speak to the work that has to be done, the work that is ahead of us. And there's a way to run the gamut today, fam. There's a way to have the emotion and appreciate our people who came before us and have joy and have the barbecue, but also know that you have a job to do tomorrow, and you got a job to do next year, and you got a job to do next week, right? You can be a happy warrior. I think I try to be a good example of it, but you can be a happy warrior. You don't have to be down. You don't have to be just always out. You can do it. But like I think that's the onus is on us to do it. And I appreciate y'all. Whew. Let me go to my next caller. I'm not getting to everybody. I just want everybody to know that. 917, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette.
Hey.
This is Ari from New York, and I wanted to just say thank
Happy
you so
Juneteenth.
much for having this lovely call-in session. And I'm excited to be celebrating Juneteenth today, because it's definitely something that we need to remember is American history. It's not, just tied into one group, which is, the descendants of the enslaved. Yes, it is. But it is something that everyone needs to use to educate themselves on why there needs to be advocacy for reparations. Listen to the stories of those who are descendants of the enslaved, whether they are a part of the group or not. That is something that this day needs to be used for as well. I'm here just remembering my great-great-grandmother who was enslaved, remembering my grandmother's great aunt who had to sleep in a barn with the livestock. And thankfully, my mother, when we were coming up, she always told us not to be ashamed of where we came from, that we were descendants of the enslaved, not to be ashamed of that. And also, she even advocated for reparations. So we grew up in a household that she reminded us, hey, they said 40 acres and a mule, you know, and the contributions of, you know, our ancestry. So I just think, you know, it's important for us to just remember that. And whether it's, you know, celebrating through, you know, singing songs or dancing or having a barbecue like you mentioned, or someone in the chat talking about having some peach cobbler or something like that.
Oh, that was me. I love peach cobbler. I'm sorry.
Things.
I want everybody to know it too. I'm sorry.
It's important to do those things because there were people who were set free and didn't know it. And they didn't even have the luxury of being able to celebrate the way we can and honor their lives because they were burdened with the what's next. And in many ways, many of us are still burdened with what's next. And so it's just important to continue to do the work that you're doing. So I thank you for that. And I also think it's also important for all of us to keep the focus on today. I was a little disappointed with the local news program. They turned the focus totally outside of the group and on businesses of people outside of the group. No. If you're going to do that, highlight businesses of those who are descendants of the enslaved because they probably need the help anyway. And then on top of it, why not highlight the ancestry, the history, maybe just creating some level of further understanding, which is not really seen. So, like I said, just continue to be thankful, everyone. Continue to celebrate and just know that you are standing on those who may not have had a happy death, may have had an early death, may have had not been able to sing, dance, celebrate, but you're here and you can do that on their behalf.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what you're doing. That's what they would want you to do. Like if you read enough of them, I think they would say, hey, you don't have to live. Somebody in the chat said, why are we celebrating? We're celebrating freedom from chains. Like, yes, we are not what we should be. We are all reparations. We are the bottom in America, but nobody's taking a whip to your back in the morning or tonight because you didn't pick enough cotton. And people fought for that to be the truth. That didn't just happen. White people didn't just wake up and say, you know what? We're tired of mistreating you. People fought for that. People fought for that intellectually. People fought for that through rebellions. And that is something to celebrate. And if you don't understand that, then I don't know. Like somebody else just said, well, are we doing the same old politics? There's nothing about ADOS that is the same old anything. You know, everybody has to bring themselves around. You have to honor the people who fought for you to be able to be here. You are at home or wherever you are, at work or in your car, listening to a device that is sharing a message. There was a time when we couldn't even learn to read, right? And so you have to celebrate the journey and the people who fought for the journey. That is not complicated. But I appreciate you, fam.
Thank you.
You have a good one. And let me just say one other thing. People may not remember this. People may not remember this, but there was a time when I was creating this show, I had asked Boyce Watkins, said, hey, can I put it on your channel that I need money to create a show? And he was like, no, I don't do charity. His whole life is charity. But after that, I put it up on my own little thing and I said, hey, I need $5,000 to create this live, right? I want to do a show that is my show, that I don't have to be on somebody else's channel, but I have to buy cameras and all kinds of stuff, and I need that money. And you all gave me that money. Some of the people I found out recently, one of the people who gave me my first payment, who wasn't even working at the time, is dead, right? Like, you know, everybody passes on something, does something, but I say all that to say, even though some of you all are new and may not know, there would be no Breaking Brown show were it not, there would be no event on YouTube if I could not get the camera and the setup to do that. And that was money that was donated by you just from saying I'm creating a new thing. Now, I'm not a person who comes to you every year though and says, hey, I'm doing another thing. Give me $200,000. Give me another $300,000. Give me $85,000. Give me that. I say I need some seed money. And to the extent you give more, I appreciate it. It all goes towards the work. But I'm saying that's community, right? That is community. That is showing up for each other. Not just you always showing up for me. It's my responsibility to be showing up for you. And I think in terms of what we do, in terms of this movement, I try to do that. I try to show up in a way that elevates you and puts the needs of the collective ahead of the needs of the individual. But there is no show without the collective coming together and saying, yeah, let's buy Yvette the stuff that she needs. That's how we have to. That's why one of the rules of Juneteenth was we have to figure out ways to be a community. We have to be a community. That means showing up for each other. It's a back and forth. It's not a one way. I'm going to my last call. 413. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. This is Candace again.
Hey, Candace.
All righty. How you doing?
Pretty
I'm
good.
From Georgia, so I know all of that. I contribute the best way I can because my health is not the best, and I'm
sorry to hear that.
But I thank God for what I can do. I can do monetarily better than I used to.
Okay.
Be able to do. So I'm all for ADOS, and it's kind of hard here. Doing things here because the Hispanic population has really taken over. Mm. They're doing their thing, and we have to do ours.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I go to political stuff all the time to try to work with them. It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It up here, but
I can imagine
we do have some ADOS people in Boston.
Absolutely, we got a chapter up there. Yeah,
but Springfield is very because it's a small city.
Mm-hmm.
It's so complicated. You got people want to keep up with that. Pop up that's politics.
Yeah. And shout out to Reggie from Boston while we talk about all that stuff. Yeah, but go on. I'm sorry. Yep. It sounds complicated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm just calling to say I love you and Tone and been supporting you 7 years now.
And we appreciate it. I know I do. I can't speak, but I appreciate it, and I thank you for it.
Yeah, you gotta do your thing. And I heard the man talk about Loudoun County.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is from there, and they had their land taken away from them. Loudoun County is going through some stuff. So
Yeah, it's in the black belt too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I want to thank you, family. I want to let you. Yeah. I want to thank you for all the support. I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's not as hot today for us. The heat bubble shifted.
We can't handle that.
See, I'm born and raised in the South, so I'm kind of used to I'm a lighter shade, so I have to wear sun protection, and everybody should. But I'm saying I burn bad, so. Happy Juneteenth, fam, and I appreciate everything that you are doing, and because she's saying, hey, it's different here, but we have to, I still go and I engage them, like that's part of the work, and I appreciate her saying that. Thank you, fam, because that's part of the work. Yeah, I get it. They're here and they're working, and that's part of the work. I try to engage them, and yes, that's part of it. Like I think too many people have gotten into the mindset that like I can go to a rally and yell reparations now and not do anything after that and not engage in any way after that, and that is going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. So I just want to thank everybody who showed up today for the show. Y'all just try to get out if you can and have some good Juneteenth activities going forward. Join some Juneteenth planning committees and things of that nature so we can get this right and start using some of these days to actually share our message, because this can be a day where we get to share our own politics if we are in those committees and if we can do our thing. So that becomes, that's part of what we can do. But you got to thank yourselves for what you have done in this movement. Thank the ancestors for what they did to get you here, to be okay, to be here today with life and breath and probably some lunch or dinner headed your way. I haven't eaten yet today, but I'll eat a little bit in a little bit. But that's just what it is, family. And listen, I love y'all. Y'all are the reason I'm here. You're the reason I do the work that I do. And we're just going to keep it doing what it's doing. That's all we gonna do. But fam, get you some peach cobbler. You can find some. Have some peach cobbler on my if you find the peach cobbler, have some on my behalf. That's my favorite. If you find you some, a little pound cake. But anyway, fam, I will talk to y'all later. I'm not getting to all the calls today. My apologies. I will talk to y'all. If you're on Patreon, patreon.com/YCarnell, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Also, if you have not gotten your ticket, I put the link to the ADOS, to the Reparations Summit. I put the link there at the top. I pinned it to the top of the chat. You can click there. The membership tickets are sold out. Those are just tickets that we had set aside for people who had joined ADOS, who had joined the foundation. Those have sold out, but the other tickets have not sold out. It just means that you won't get the discounted ticket, but we still have tickets available. So come do politics and have a bunch of fun with us in New Orleans, and I'm gonna have a bunch of food. I'm just ain't no need for me to lie to nobody. I'm probably gonna fast in the lead up so I can eat once I get there. We gotta do politics, but it's a place for good cuisine, good history, and good and great cuisine. So fam, go have yourself some joy, some fun, some community, and I will see y'all tomorrow on Patreon. All right.